Alright, so we got the 1091 spoilers, and I'm sorry about being late, guys, but maybe it's kind of good that I waited a little bit because we were getting a bunch of like bunk information on this chapter. Some really fantastical stuff, but now I think we have the truth, and it seems to have upset a lot of people. Like, I've been hearing that this is now a disappointing chapter considering what we found out about it, and I'm going to go over that in this video, of course, but let me quickly give you a recap on what happened in the previous chapter because it directly plays into what we're going to be talking about here. So we saw the Straw Hats like immediately take over York. She never had a chance. They just took her over immediately, and now she's essentially captured by them, right? And we saw Luffy talking to Saturn and the Navy, telling him he's going to be the king of the pirates and everything, but he also gave them some information, well, just a little bit. The real information giver is actually Lucci. Lucci, who's just chilling there with everyone, is somehow talking to Kizaru and Saturn. I guess he has like a little Den Mushi or something in his ear. One of those CIA earpiece things, because I guess CP0 is supposed to be like the CIA of the One Piece world anyway. But Lucci gave Kizaru and Saturn all of the information that they essentially needed about, everyone who's there, where they are, what's going on. Because, they kind of, I don't know, soft trust CP0 at this point. I mean, they are contained, of course, but we did see Lucci having a soft face turn, or I guess he just became a tweener at this point. But that's definitely over now. He is back to being a heel, so we can no longer trust CP0 again. The ceasefire is over. It was fun while it lasted. But this naturally causes everyone to want to leave, because the Navy is going to try to eradicate everyone here. I mean, they were trying to kill Vegapunk since the beginning of the arc. Also, let me mention that the Seraphims are currently contained inside of these overpowered bubble shields. I don't really think they're mentioned in this chapter, but it's important to know where they are because they're such a wild card and huge asset to this arc and I guess overall story, but mainly because they're right here and they're so powerful. But their plan is to essentially get to Vegaforce 1 and then have that send off the Sunny far enough so as to where it can get to a point of using the Kude Burst and then getting away from the island. Because the Vegaforce 1 robot is like reliant on Egghead Island. Like, it can't stray too far away from there or else it'll just lose power. But of course we found out it's not that easy because York has like locked down the island. She like put this passcode on it so that you just can't leave it. So then that triggers the other Vegapunks to try to crack the code. So that's kind of what they're doing in the meantime. That's their task, is to hack or crack York's code. And while they're doing that, they have Lilith and Luffy go to where the Vegaforce 1 robot is. Because they have to get that, like I said, to get the Sunny off of the island. And it also splits up some groups so that I guess Luffy isn't there with everyone. And Bonnie and Frankie's there too. So then Kizaru decides to leave the ship using the sacred Yatamira and like bounces onto Egghead, but then runs into Sentomaru. And Sentomaru is able to fend off Kizaru at first. And he says that he has the world's greatest defense. This was obviously like a super impressive feat we saw at the time. And we're going to find out what happens in this chapter. But in the very last panel, we saw Luffy reacting to, I guess, this sequence. And he's like, someone's here, someone's strong. So I guess he was definitely referring to Kizaru because, we're going to be talking about it. But the title of the chapter is Sentomaru. And Sentomaru was defeated by Kizaru. That's it. That's what happened. So, I guess we expected that, right? Sentomaru is pretty strong. I don't know if he's Yongo Commander level, but he's definitely obviously not Admiral level or Kizaru's Admiral level, which is like a touch above the standard, I guess, at this point in the series. Even though he does say that he has the world's greatest defense, I don't know if that's Oda like literally giving us exposition here or if it's just Sentomaru hyping himself up. But yeah, regardless, I do think Kizaru is holding back just like he was in the previous chapter. So I don't think Sentomaru's dead. Although, I don't know, maybe later. But anyway, Lucci tries to kill Vegapunk and Zoro steps in to fight him. So this is awesome. But also at the same time, it's kind of like Zoro's consolation prize. This video is sponsored by Tokyo Treat.
But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Tokyo Treat. Tokyo Treat is a monthly pop Japanese snack subscription box where you'll get up to 20 of the latest, most exclusive, limited edition, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks that are only available in Japan for a limited time, like Sakura Pepsi, Japanese sake Kit Kats, ramen, and many more. It also comes with this awesome booklet that gives you information on all of the snacks in the box, as well as information about Japan and its culture. This month's box is Moon Festival Snackin'. Tokyo Treat invites you to celebrate Tsukimi together with their special Tsukimi designed snack box, filled with delicious Japanese Tsukimi themed snacks, perfect for enjoying under the moonlight with your friends and family. Taste the festival through the Moon Festival inspired snacks like Kit Kat Chestnut. Chestnut is a common treat during the Moon Festival, as well as the full moon rice cracker and mint chocolate moon pebbles. First, I tried these black pepper potato chips. You're not really going to be able to find a flavor of chips like this in America. Really unique and has like this interesting umami to it. Really enjoyed these. Also had to try the Japanese Mikan orange juice. It's very tangy but super flavorful. It just hits different. And then last but not least, we have to try the special Japanese Kit Kats that we always get with Tokyo Treat, and this month it's the chestnut Kit Kats. You've probably heard me say this before, but these Kit Kats never miss. A truly wonderful experience eating these things. There's really no other candy like this. So guys, if you're interested in getting your very own Tokyo Treat box, please check out the link in the description and make sure you use my code Zhoniin. That way you'll get $5 off your very first box. Thanks guys.
I was hoping that we were going to see Luffy go against Saturn and that Zoro was going to go against Kizaru. That would have been amazing, and it still could happen. I mean, because I guess we are just still beginning the third act of this arc. And yeah, like I said in the beginning, Lucci has, turned heel again, and he is fully on board trying to get back in the good graces of the world government and the Navy, because the Seraphims were like trying to kill him too. So I guess he's just, like I said, trying to get back in their good graces, and the first thing he's doing is telling them, everything that's going on in the room, and he's immediately trying to kill Vegapunk, which is interesting because everyone is already there. Well, aside from, Luffy and the other group going towards Vegaforce 1, they can easily just all gang up on him and destroy him. I mean, Zoro alone is enough to defeat Lucci, in my opinion. I mean, I think most of us think that, even in his awakened Zoan form. And I was also wondering, like, okay, so why is it only Zoro? And we don't know. We are going to get the full summary for this, hopefully, from Readon. And if we do, I will make a video on that. It'll probably come out after I upload this video, to be honest. But yeah, I'll go on double duty for this chapter, of course. Triple duty for once we get the full chapter released. I will, of course, review that. So subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Thank you. But if you're wondering, like, what's Sanji doing? Well, the information that we're getting here is Sanji has imprisoned Kaku by putting him in one of those giant bubbles. The giant bubbles that the Seraphim are currently in. I'm really not sure how much Kaku could have did anyway, because he was like severely wounded and he was just lying on that table thing. So he would have been just dominated by Sanji anyway, because Sanji is just way too overpowered at this point. Well, he seemed that way at the end of Wano. I don't know, maybe Oda has balanced him out or something since that time, but I just don't think Kaku has any chance against Sanji at this current point in the story, even with his awakened giraffe Zoan. But as for Zoro and Lucci, I'm not going to go too much into speculation about what's happening in this chapter, because we kind of know, and I'll compound that with the other big monumental fight that's happening in this chapter, and it's Luffy versus Kizaru. That's right, Luffy is facing off against Kizaru in this chapter, finally. But don't get too excited, because it goes back to the very beginning of this video where I said everybody is angry at this chapter and disappointed. And that's because the actual battles of Zoro versus Lucci and Luffy versus Kizaru only have one panel, and they are all just encounters. And there is no further description, so naturally there is no transformation or anything. So yes, sorry to break it to you guys, but it seems like this might be somewhat of a teaser chapter, and to be honest, I'm fine with that. Could we just go into a full-blown battle? Sure, why not? But I'm somewhat of a patient person, at least I like to think that I am, and from what I think I know about Oda, he is too. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait at least 2 weeks at this point to see what's going on with these battles, because there is going to be a break after this chapter. But like I said, since we are going into the third and final act of this arc, or at least assume we are, I think Oda is going to deliver, and we are going to get somewhat of a good fight between Luffy and Kizaru and Lucci versus Zoro. On paper, Zoro versus Lucci, of course Zoro is going to be the favorite, but I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as Lucci versus Gear 5 Luffy, of course. And then for the Kizaru versus Luffy fight, it really depends on how far Oda wants to go with that, because, you know, like I've been talking about, Saturn is still there, the Gorosei guy. And I really want to see Luffy versus Saturn. And it would make more sense for Zoro to go against Kizaru, because that would be an adequate test for Zoro at this point. Just like Saturn would be an adequate test for Luffy. Kizaru would too, don't get me wrong. But if Kizaru was the only big threat here, then that would be fine, because there would be no one above him and we wouldn't have any other expectations. But now that Saturn's here, it's like Oda did it for a reason, obviously. First time we ever saw the Gorosei leave Mary Chua, and they're this far away on Egghead. So it's like, what's going on with that? I mean, I'm fine with seeing Kizaru and Luffy have somewhat of a cold fight. I don't know, maybe Luffy doesn't even go Gear 5 against him, although he would kind of have to, right? Gear 4 isn't really going to do much against Kizaru. But I'm so eager to see what's happening, just like with you guys. But, you know, we are getting teased, unfortunately. But, you know, maybe there is something that happens at the end of this chapter. Maybe there isn't something included in these spoilers. And then the last set of spoilers we have here is that Frankie, Bonnie, and Lilith went out to protect Sunny and the Vega Force once. So yeah, we already knew they were there. And I guess as they're going there, Luffy is intercepted by Kizaru. And yeah, that's all I have for now, guys. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.